All right, everybody, let me ask you a question. How many people go through an entire week working hard, staying busy, doing a lot of things, but they never stop long enough to ask themselves one simple question? Is what I'm doing actually moving my life forward? You know, most people stay busy, but very few people stop long enough to reflect. And without reflection, growth becomes accidental. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Finding Your Innergator podcast, where we talk about discipline, relationships, and the habits that release the greatness that is already inside of you. I'm your host, Wright, and I am so glad that you're here. In each episode, we'll explore powerful lessons, real-life stories, and practical strategies to help you live intentionally, build meaningful relationships, and unlock your full potential. But greatness isn't something you stumble into. It's something that is built every single day. So let's get started and begin the journey to finding your Innergator. Over the past several episodes, the past 4 episodes, we've been walking through the Innergator framework. I told you in episode 1 how GATOR came to be, how Innergator came to be, and this was in the mid 2000s, right? The early 2009, 2010 time frame. But GATOR stands for greatness achieved through optimizing relationships. Each letter also represents a daily discipline. We talked about getting clear. G. A, act with discipline. T, you've got to track your progress. O, optimize relationships. R, reflect and reset. And we're talking specifically about that final discipline today. And honestly, in my opinion, that's the one that ties everything together. Reflect and reset. RB, why does reflection matter? Here's something interesting. Most people repeat the same mistakes year after year, not because they're not capable of improving, but they never stop long enough to evaluate what's working and what's not. High performers do something different. They pause. They reflect. They ask themselves honest questions, because reflection creates awareness. And awareness creates growth. We talked about this in the measuring, in the tracking, right? You're looking back, you're reflecting. What am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? I talk all the time about my Captain RB life, right? I love fishing tournaments. I love fishing tournaments. Many of you who have followed this and follow me know that here in the Topsail area, most of the time I'm called Captain RB. I love inshore fishing. I love offshore fishing. But after every trip, every good captain actually reviews the day. I've got a journal where I track in. My wife actually got that for me. I told her I needed a really good one. She got me one. And I write down, and I'm not going to tell you where I keep it locked up, but I write down where the fish are. What baits worked today? What conditions changed? What was the weather? What was the water temperature? What depth were the fish in? What will I do differently next time? This reflection is what makes the next trip better. Life works exactly the same way. If you never reflect, you're going to keep repeating the same patterns. In the fishing world, I'll keep going to the same spot, showing the same lures, thinking that maybe today is the day that one of them gets hit, right? Maybe today is the day that the fish show up here. It doesn't work that way. Not if you're going to win. Not if you're looking for greatness. You learn, you study, you reflect. You do the daily reset. You see, reflection doesn't need to be complicated. It can be as simple as asking yourself a few questions at the end of each day. Questions like, what worked today? What didn't work today? What should I do differently tomorrow? You ask yourself those 3 questions every night and honest with yourself, they can change everything because they create awareness. And awareness allows you to improve. Here's some things I've learned over the years. Success rarely comes from getting everything right the first time. It comes from adjustment, small improvements, repeated over time. Reflection allows you to make those adjustments, and all of those adjustments compound. We've talked about the compounding effect, right? In getting clarity, in acting with discipline, in tracking, in your relationships. And it's even more so true when you reflect and reset. It compounds. It compounds. I talk about this every episode, about letting the Innergator show up, right? Well, this is where it happens. I've told you, this is the first one you listen to. I need to say this to you. Inside every person listening to this podcast, you that is listening right now, it's just me and you talking. There is greatness. That greatness in you, that's your Innergator. But greatness doesn't grow by accident. It grows through that clarity. It grows through the discipline, through tracking your progress, through your relationships, and through reflection. Reflection is what turns experience into wisdom. Here's your challenge this week. At the end of each day, I need you to take 5 minutes and ask yourself those 3 questions. Take 5 minutes. Be honest with yourself, just you by yourself. Write it down. What worked today? What didn't work today? What will I improve tomorrow? Again, write it down. Reflection is how you turn one day of effort into long-term growth. Over the past several episodes, we've walked through the entire Innergator framework. Get clear. Act with discipline. Track your progress. Optimize relationships. Reflect and reset. Those 5 disciplines are how you begin gatorizing your day. Next week, we're going to start talking about how to apply this framework in real life, in business, leadership, and relationships. I hope your week is fantastic. I hope it's one of the best weeks you have. And I hope that you're applying these 5 things every day. And as you keep adding one, that you're seeing that improvement. Win this week. Have a great week. And I look forward to connecting with you next week. Thanks, guys. Everybody, thank you so much for listening to the Finding Your Innergator podcast. If today's episode helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Remember, greatness is achieved through discipline, intentional action, and optimizing the relationships around you. I look forward to getting with you next week. Now, go gatorize your day.